How you doing,
Dear, dear.
brother?
I do. Good evening.
Good evening, bro. So go ahead. What are your thoughts?
Well, basically, I would just say it depends on, even if it's a Gen Z, it depends on the Gen Z the guy is getting married to.
Hmm.
You still see a Gen Z that grew up here and is well cultured, well mannered, So those are just my, like me now, I got married to, well, like the Gen Z, she's just 24 years old.
Babanla Gen Z.
So,
How old
she's,
are you?
me, I'm 30.
Oh, we're not too far from each other.
Yeah, so she grew up here, like all her life was here, and she
Now, Gen
okay.
Z. Here are my thoughts. Gen Z we grow up abroad.
Mhm.
For me, Nakata,
Well, it depends. It still
because they have
depends.
that abroad mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Not like the Nigerians, the one we grow up for Nigeria, come there. That one, now the one with give problem. Those ones that grew there, they usually
Mm-hmm.
have that abroad value. And the abroad value is not entirely bad. It's actually more calming than when you mix both Nigeria and abroad and they try to have sense. Or what are your thoughts? What's your
Well,
experience?
in my own, I will talk basically from my own experience because I won't talk outside. Like now, my own wife, she's not Nigerian. She's from Togo. She's from Togo, but she still always imbibe all this African culture, even though she grew up here. Like all her, like she came here like when she was 2 years old. So this African culture, even last year, last month when we came to Nigeria, like, well manner, still know how to use respect, sir, like unlike normal Yankee baby say she go the wala they don't send you. You understand? So even despite our own experience, our own exposure, she still imbibes that culture into everything. So
Now,
that's why I said it depends on wherever you're you're getting married to.
hmm, brother, I want to say something. A friend of mine in the US who just got married to a Ghanaian lady said he can never marry Nigerian. A lot of our Nigerian brothers are running away from our Nigerian sisters and marrying Togolese, Benin Republicans, and
Mm-hmm.
Ghanaians, even girls from the Democratic Republic of Congo,
Congo.
because of the way you see all those countries. Their women no be like our own women. Our women are borderline money for hand, back for ground, even in a marriage. Sierra Leone, Ethiopians, even a very popular blogger in Nigeria who we all know, married an Ethiopian woman, you
But
know?
but
And when he
dear,
married, he previously was married to a Nigerian woman with Show and Pepe. He can't live and marry an Ethiopian woman. What are your thoughts about that? Cameroonians too.
dear, it still depends on the lady. I don't see. I've seen proper world vote up Nigerian girls here, and they're happily married. So it
You must be
depends
in the
on.
UK.
Well, I don't know about the UK. I'm talking about. Of course, I'm talking about US. Like my friends, people I know, extended friends, like that are Nigerians, and they're actually very doing good. Like, so that it depends. It depends on probably the exposure. Some of the just come Yankee. Okay, oh, I don't come with that. I don't get right. You understand? But then that's why I said it depends on the. It's just a personal thing. Let me put it that way. It's just a personal thing. A
A lot of
personal.
guys are saying it depends. Guys, can you come and share your perspective publicly? What are your thoughts? I'm trying to bring in a few guys. Once you hear this jackpot thing, a lot of people run away from it. Pop my money gun if you're watching on TikTok. I want to bring in a couple more guys. Guys, do you agree with our brother here? What are your thoughts? And women, why are your own brothers preferring Kenyan, Zimbabwean, Benin Republic women over
But I
you?
mean, you
Why?
still see some Kenyans, Zimbabwean that are not properly with they misbehave self.
Hmm.
But at least I've come across like two.
Hmm.
Uganda, Zimbabwe. So it's personal. So it's not like a yardstick or if you are Nigerian, but just that I think the issue is that Nigerians are more populated when it comes to the African or the West African countries. You understand? Before you see like let's say five Uganda, you see like 10 Nigerians.
Hmm.
You understand? You see like 10 Nigerians. So that's why it's always look like, oh, maybe Nigerians, Nigerian girls,
Okay,
Nigerian
let me
girls.
ask you a question. Why didn't you come home to marry a woman from your village?
Well, well, I would say that I did come home because when I came here, of course, I met various girls before I started for my wife. And I met various girls before I started for my wife, but I was just convinced. I just felt okay. I was not even maybe Nigeria or maybe Togo, maybe if I see village girl where I just pick condo, why not? I would have married her, but when I met my wife and she was good, or she's still good, like even though we are not perfect, but I mean, I could control our excesses. So why can't they waste time now?
Okay, now I want to ask you a question. Yeah. Uh, um, did you have your papers?
Well, I had my visa when I came in here. So and when it comes to papers, I feel if you come in legal, let me say as a student, if you come in as a student, you there are various ways in which you can get your papers without even getting married. Just that marriage makes it faster. So, and I mean, I don't think there will be a reasonable guy that will actually want to settle down because of papers and get have stupid or a frustrating marital life. So I cannot join. So I don't think to me, I don't think he's gonna worth that stress because of the papers. So
Mm.
that's what my own thought. So even when it comes to papers, we've seen like even that people that came in with student visa, there are various things. There is EB2, there is NIW, there is EB1, in which you can use to get your papers.
Mm.
So those are
Mm.
my own thoughts.
Mm. 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 Samaria joined us, but then left. I don't know what happened. Uh, Mama Tuzi, I think it's a bit hard joining today. We lost like two people. They came in, they couldn't come, their network or whatever. Okay. So someone said it's not that straightforward in the US. Do you live in the US, brother? Brother, do you live in the US? Sorry, can't hear me. Okay, another brother has joined us.
Okay.
Brother, how you doing?
Yeah, I live in the USA. I live in Chicago.
Okay, what are your thoughts about what the gentleman here has? When I even look like when I be brothers, I swear, when I resemble, I swear. When I know each other before.
No, no, no.
So now everybody goes together like this. So
Okay, so let me just give my thought, right? So I came here 11 years ago, right? And I think I'll go with your own suggestion that rephrase. I think when it comes to our Nigerian women, like once they cross over to this place, it's a different ball game,
Mm,
right? a nurse. I work with a lot of women. Like literally, if I'm on the floor walking, I'm literally the only man. I can compare Nigerian women and African American women because I don't really know much about African like other countries like Ivory Coast, Ghana, but most of my friends we marry from other countries. They're living very peacefully. I have five friends who were married to Nigerian and the divorce was drastic. Yeah, facts. One almost lost his dad in the course of the divorce, and that really got him badly. But the moment he married this girl from Rwanda, this guy is living in peace. In peace.
Wait till I talk.
So, but I will say is this because they are Nigerians or?
So I want Nigerian women, right? I think this issue with I just call it poverty mentality. Yeah, because whenever they come abroad, they have their own plans. Let's say, okay, a girl comes from Nigeria, maybe she comes from a regular, maybe poor background, for example, right? Okay, now when she's coming, she has backlog of people that she wants to help. Her mother, brother, cousins. So she won't put the input into the marriage, right? So she won't put the input into the marriage like that. But when you marry, for example, let's say you marry a girl from Rwanda, they're not money conscious like us. Number one, like if you travel to Rwanda, for example, now they take everything very peacefully. It's cool. They don't rush over. They don't. In fact, they're not even after material wealth. Nothing. They just come live with you in peace. But I'm not going to say I'm going to speak for all other African countries. But from my experience, I have friends who are married to other countries and they're living peacefully. Some are even going to Jamaica, Dominican Republic, and they're looking for girls with good manners and culture, they have this culture. But when it comes to Nigerian women, man, it's tough. It is tough. But like you
But
said,
is it all Nigerian men that it tough?
I would say it's a personal thing though, but I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, it's a personal thing. But if you look at the ratio,
because
I get the
me
point.
as a person, I've seen people.
He's talking about the statistics,
Yeah,
and I kind of
numbers.
agree with the statistics.
Yeah.
Because I've seen people that have been married for over 15 years right here in Nigeria, and they're Nigerians, good Nigerians.
Then the man is not the wife. Then the man is the wife. The woman is the husband. You have to like make that compromise. You have to
Of
give
course,
her the
in every
portion.
marriage there are compromises. So whatever makes it work in their marriage, that sustains it's what you're looking at. It's not about. I mean, no one will come out and tell you how they run their house. But what matters is that they are together and they're happily married.
Okay, now so let me give this example right now, right? Since you want to go that route, right? Now, let's say you're dating a Nigerian girl, for example, right now. Automatically, she believes you do everything. You pay the rent, you pay the bills, everything is you, right? So that's where the problem comes from. But when you're married to an African American, for example, right? They are built into the system. They know how the system works. She'll say, okay, how much is the rent? Let's say the mortgage is like 1,500. Okay. She'll split it into two. Easy, no arguments. When you guys go out for dinner, she will pay. She will buy you gifts. Most of the girls that have given me gifts wholeheartedly were African Americans, no Nigerians. Facts.
I get what you're saying.
No. I want to come to that point. I've dated all races.
But
somebody said twin brothers won't argue.
But I get what you're saying. But at the same time, I think these are all discussions that should be said even before you get married. Finances, how to sort out
when
this.
you bring in finance with a
before I got
Nigerian
married,
girl, hold on, bro, hold on one second, hold on. When you bring in a finance into a Nigerian, I was talking to a Nigerian recently. I said, come, like, I've been buying you gifts. What's up? Even a boxer, even a body spray, you can't even say, okay, let me take it out and go and spend on you. It's a problem. So that's where the problem starts from. That's why women are just too money minded. Money is the problem.
I understand you because even me, when I was out there, I met this particular Nigerian girl. When we were getting to know each other, we talked about finance and how bills and rents. Okay, she's working, I'm working, and okay, how do we sort the bills? Okay, in the future, and she was like, okay, left for her, we don't sort all the rents, or if we buy a house, together, we don't split the mortgage, pay the car notes and all. And I was like, okay, so what will you be doing with your own money? Like, I just want to know, like, what are your own expectations with your own money? It's like, okay, our own money should just go for shopping, you know, do stuff. I was like, I even nobody go tell me. Like it was from there I knew that me and this person can't work.
True, true, true.
There'll be some guys that will work for them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there'll be some guys that okay, yes, I can sort everything. You know, but me as a person, no, that won't work for me. That won't fly with me. You know, so that's why I said all these things are discussions that should have been said probably before you even get into marriage.
But if you bring that discussion up with most Nigerian women, and they tell you, say they go flick you
No,
out immediately.
but I think it should. It's still, these are things that we can't actually avoid,
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
especially in a
hold on a
country like
second. We've
this.
got a lady in the
Okay.
house. My darling sister. Somebody tweeted or typed. He said, "You came to war."
Oh my God.
So, what are your thoughts?
Oh Lord. I wondered why they have that perception. No, I'm just listening, you know.
Are
What are
you
my
Nigerian American or
No, I'm Nigerian.
okay? But you grew
I'm
up
not
in America.
correct. I grew up in
How
America, but
old were you when you got to America?
I was 14.
Mm.
So I'm fully Naija girl.
Mm.
Daddy Freeze is like, what do you have to say, Daddy? DF is like,
I want
hmm.
to hear your side of the story. So,
But
what is your take?
it's a very broad
Yeah.
subject
So,
topic. So
attack
I
it
was
from
in
any
and out.
angle. Attack it
Okay.
from any angle.
So can you narrow it down for me? Maybe just a particular angle, because it's a very broad topic, right? And
Mm.
I heard them go back and forth,
Do
you
you
know.
agree that Nigerian women are materialistic? That's one angle. Let's start from there.
Uh, I it depends,
Do
honestly.
you
I
consider
think
yourself materialistic?
I can get anything I want for myself.
Are you
So that
married?
I am married, correct?
Okay, let's talk about the rent. Who pays the rent?
Everything in my house is 50-50.
Perfect,
Mm,
perfect, perfect,
My
perfect.
house is 50.
you are not typical. I may assume
Okay.
you are not
But
typical. I don't think typical Nigerian women, do you people agree for a 50-50 sharing formula? Now,
Never,
did you
never.
marry an Oyinbo or did you marry a Nigerian?
my husband is Igbo, just like me.
Did
So
he grow up? So Igbo man agree 50-50. Ah,
he grew up in Nigeria. He went to university and everything in
Igbo
Nigeria.
man agree 50-50.
Honestly, why are you surprised? I guess I'm confused.
I don't know. Most Igbo men would not agree. They would want to pay more financially so that they can also have the upper hand of the control in the marriage.
Well,
But you're now, brother, the first brother who joined.
Okay.
What's the rent like in your situation? Who pays the rent?
Well, the rent like here is 50-50. 50-50. Just
okay.
that as the guy, there's some things I do like the car insurance, the house insurance, maybe the utility bills. I do that as a guy. But she still tell me you do 50-50. But me as the guy where I be, but the rent is actually 50-50. But that means I can still still trust it, but the rent is
Mm.
50.
Now, let's talk about house chores. My brother
Okay.
below, you are not married, are you?
No, no, I'm not married. I'm married.
Okay,
I'm
so
divorced. I'm divorced.
oh, okay.
Mm.
Okay, but that before you got divorced, how
Mm.
was? Tell us about your
Okay.
rent situation.
So I was married for 4 years, right? And I'll tell you for a fact, I was even fighting. I was begging that please let me pay bills. She said no. That just bring half of your rent. That the freeze. I was even fighting. Like I didn't even know I was eating. I was like, come if you're going to the store, take my credit card. Just buy. She'll say no. Take your card back. But I fucked
What
up.
what was she married? What was Was she Nigerian or
American, American, full American.
Oyibo
No,
or
black. No, I don't like white. I prefer black.
okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So
So
let's keep it like so. What about house chores? Let's start with my
okay.
brother.
So after,
House chores.
okay.
After um, well, basically there is no maybe the kind of person I am. Even before I got married, when I was staying by myself, I do house chores. So even while dating, I don't see it. I don't see it like a um a defined role. I feel wake up one day myself, begin sweep house,
True.
begin clean bathroom, go wash plates. You know, like today now, I just feel like cooking. I came back, I'm about to cook to make my own stew.
Yes.
So it's not really defined like that. Same with my wife. My wife can just go online, look at Igbo food or Nigerian, cook for me. She can wake up and sweep. So it's not really defined like that. Or maybe someday, maybe she says, babe, please help me do this. I'll do it. So it's not really defined like that. Like maybe you have to do this one, you have to do this one. That's it from my own side. It's not defined. Chores are not defined. I can wake up and just do what I have to do. She can wake up and do what she has to do.
All right, my darling sister. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I would say in my home, chores are, you could say 50-50 or 60-40, just because, you know, I'll say about 60-40 in my house because my husband travels for work. So I'm more at home with the kids, right? So,
What
but
does your
when
husband do?
he's into pharmaceuticals, he's a clinical research, he's into clinical drug trials, but he's the occupational therapist. That's what he went to school for here. But currently he works in the pharmaceutical industry. So he has to go, like during drug trials, they're the ones that monitor the drugs to determine if the drugs go from one phase to the other. And just
Say
going,
medications. Let's use medications because of
oh, okay,
uh
medications. Okay.
yes.
So they just monitor medications for the FDA. So they're the ones that determine, if the drug is safe enough and efficacious enough to move from one phase to the other.
The face. To know
Correct.
if
So in
if they
general,
can
like he
take it
was
generally.
saying, as someone in the medical field, and just from my experience with Nigerians and Nigerian nurses, and I stay in Texas. So something that this is just my own personal observation, is one of the problems that I've identified or noticed in the Nigerian community, like you were saying, is a lot of Nigerian men are bringing women from Nigeria. A lot of these men did not do well for themselves. So there's a motive here. These women are brought here to work. And the brother down there is a nurse, so he knows what I'm talking about. I'm a pharmacist. Nurses work hard. Pharmacists work hard, but nurses, their job is both mentally taxing and physically taxing. So a lot of Nigerian men, the
Mama
problem is that
baby.
these men have underperformed. So these are like their retirement plans. So they go get this girl from a probably average home, poor home, bring the young lady here, and they want her to be their cash out cow. So eventually, that young girl that you brought, she works. Some of this, like Daddy Freeze, I'm telling you this out of experience. You see a young lady, you don't even know she's in her 20s or 30s because they've aged. These girls or these women are carrying pregnancy. I've had a nurse like go in labor, like in the hospital from stress. She can't take time off. They work till they push that baby out. I have two kids. So I've carried two healthy, beautiful children. So you don't see this as much with pharmacists and doctors because I have friends from all medical groups, right? You don't see it as much with pharmacists and doctors. This is peculiar to nurses. And the reason is it's easy for a nurse to transition in the US because all they need to do is get a bachelor's in Nigeria, come here, they take them, they call it the NCLEX. If you pretty smart or pretty, you don't have to even be smart. If you knew what you were doing in Nigeria, as long as you were not sleeping with the lecturers or you were not paying through, most of these people come here first or two or tenths, they knock it off. So that's why a lot of them, I believe, like these ladies because it's easy for them to convert. But when you come as a pharmacist from Nigeria, it's a different ball game because Nigeria does bachelor's of pharmacy. And in the US, we're doctors of pharmacy. It's a doctorate program. So you cannot just come from Nigeria as a pharmacist and start working. It's a pretty long process because, again, Nigeria is doing bachelor's. I heard just very few, one or two universities offer the doctor of pharmacy, but majority of the pharmacists from Nigeria come, they are bachelors. So it's a harder transition. It's a more tedious process that I won't want to bore you with. So nurses are quick, fast, and furious to assimilate them into the culture to start making money. I'm not saying, again, I'm not a nurse, and I'm talking unbiased as a pharmacist and someone that works with these guys. These ladies are stressed out. The things that I hear and see in the hospital, my jaw just drops because these women work. What do you think they're going to do when they get home? And the men don't want to help them at home. They want the lady to be the breadwinner. And then you go back home, they expect her to still be the submissive wife, give them the activities in the other room, take care of the children. A lot of them don't want to help. What do you think is going to happen over time? When you keep pouring from an empty cup, the cup would eventually be empty. You are going to get anger. You're going to get backlash. And another thing that I've noticed that is common with the nurses is their husbands don't want them to help their families in Nigeria. That was the point that you brought up. But don't forget that that poor young girl that you brought here to work, she's coming from a needy family. And that's part of the reason. It's like give and take. That's the part of the reason she married you anyways. You're not her spec. There's a green card on the line. Yes, that's always the case. That's just the truth. A lot of them come, if they had the opportunity that I had coming here at 14, I married my spec because I had everything that I wanted. I didn't marry out of a motive, no green card, I don't know if that's allowed to say, but I didn't marry with a motive in mind, if that makes sense, Daddy Freeze. I didn't have a money issue. I married who I wanted. So a lot of the men, just like they go to Nigeria to get these ladies, if they perform very well in America, those ladies would not be their spec. Let's just be honest about it. Likewise, a lot of these girls, if Nigeria was a functional system where there's equal opportunities for everybody, if you finish a 4-year program in major fields like nursing, pharmacy, just major degrees, just like the US, it doesn't matter what you sound like, it doesn't matter who your dad is. If you get a 4-year degree from a university and it's a pretty, reasonable degree, you're going to compete with anybody. I have the same opportunity like Sasha Obama. She has the name Obama behind her name, but if she's a pharmacist just like me and sits for the boards, takes that board, it's a fair ground for everybody. But it's not like that in Nigeria. I used to, I didn't go to uni in Nigeria. So sometimes, a lot of everything I know about university, of course, is from like movies, talking to my sisters. A lot of my sisters went to school in Nigeria. So I get that uni experience from their stories. I used to watch the movies. I'm like, why are these girls doing, why do they sleep with the lecturers? Why do they do this and all that? But sometimes now I'm a lot more slow to judge. The
Let me
system,
tell you
I was
something. The system in Nigeria is different. There are
correct.
some women in Nigeria that will never have a degree if the lecturer did not agree to sleep with them.
No,
Some
absolutely
girls went to
correct.
school to hustle. They never
Yes,
read. They were hopping from club to club, sleeping with man
correct.
to man. Then it's now time to do exam. How are you going to get it? Now, lecturer. So if lecturer no agree, you don't enter problem with that.
Problem. That's true.
So let's round off. We've been here for quite a minute. It is
That's just my
I want to counter what you just said just now, right?
in
okay.
So,
a
for
in a
example,
nutshell. I
okay,
just think,
mm,
let me just in a nutshell. I think part of the problem, like I was saying, is the expectations. There's a motive. Both people have motives. The people that go to get these ladies, and a good number of the ladies too, the motive is for greener pastures. And when two people with motives come together, what do you think is going to happen? There's going to be a clash. There's going to be a conflict of interest now, because it's not just the ladies that have a motive. The men too themselves have a motive. That's why they leave the ladies here that they feel are know their, I don't know if you call it know their rights, because a lot of Nigerian marriages is not partnerships. I'm sorry, it's not a partnership.
All right, my sister. We've run out of time. I want my brother to say something, but real
okay.
quick.
So, sister, I'm
And
gonna
then, Mama
counter what.
Tuzi, I invited you from the beginning. You are coming at the tail end, so you know you have just 2 minutes. Oh yeah,
Yes,
brother.
so I'm going to counter what you said, right? So not all men are bringing women from Nigeria because they want to use them for retirement packages. So like myself, I have a good job. I came here 10 years ago. I'm a citizen. I don't need women to give me nothing, right? But I'll look at your value system that you're bringing to the table. I will say clearly with my full chest, most of our Nigerian women average is coming from poverty, and they have this mindset, this poverty mentality. It takes them away. When they come to this country, a lot of opportunities you can get. Just like you said, you go to school, you get a job, right? When I went out of school, the day I wrote my board, the day I landed a job that very day. So I get it. There are more opportunities out here. But here's the point right now. People should understand that we have our value system. I'm a Nigerian. I want to come home and see my wife, go to the kitchen and make me a meal. Nigerian meal, not Akata meal, right?
Mhm.
Fine. I wasn't married before, right? My wife was perfect. But I was missing that Nigerian touch that I'll come home and speak the same language with my wife, we joke, we go to places like that. I wasn't getting that from the American parts, right? But when it comes to finances, which is a big factor in every American marriages today, go and look every divorce today in America. They'll tell you, oh, this, that, lies. Finances is the biggest factor here, right? So when I bring you come from Nigeria, for example, right now, and I ask you, okay, babe, my pay is 5K in a month. I have a mortgage, I have student loan, I have a car note, I have insurance, I have bills, right? I need you to bring something to the table, not tell me your family properly. I'm not saying you shouldn't help your family back home, but you should be more focused to your family out here. That's the major issue going on right now. Like I said, I have
Absolutely.
friends. I have friends that are married to Nigerian. When they come like this, the mother is calling the. I even have a friend that she has to block her mother because her mother was seriously billing her. So finances is a factor, value system is a factor, and again, we're dealing one thing in the Western world: boredom. But everybody's bored in America. People like to work here because if you don't go to work, what I did at home, you'll be bored. So be like, okay, let me go to Nigeria and bring this girl I've been talking to. Maybe she's my girlfriend. The value system is the main thing. It's not because they want to use it for. I could get a 401k. I could get life insurance. Those things are possible. Yeah, I don't need anybody to come pay for me. But the issue is the value system. I want to be married to a Nigerian that understands me. Now, if African American men are more cultured like Nigerian men, I'm telling you, most Nigerians will never see African American women to marry. It's just because their men are not like us. So they come for us because they love our culture. They'll tell you,
All right.
I love the Nigerian culture.
Time
All
up.
right.
My lovely
Cool, man.
sister, you have just 2 minutes. No vex.
Yeah.
Go
Good
ahead.
evening, good evening, dear,
Yes.
dear. Sorry, I was finishing up. I was finishing up a project that I was working on, so I couldn't pick up then. I think both of you have point. I like your point, yeah, but that is just one side of the story. In fact, when you brought up the issue of people marry and then bring these young people, girls up here
It's a
to
broad
then they start
topic.
working, then they. But it is
It's a very
actually the
broad
reality.
topic.
In fact, most of the cases that the spouses pied the other one, it's something like that. Because this men, think about it, they're in their 50s, they're in their 60s, then they still keep driving cabs and all of that. They use money from there. A lot of these girls are not even nurses from Nigeria. These men actually sponsor their education here in the United States. And then when the girls, by the time they start making the money, because there's no agreement or anything, you know how it is.
Yes.
And you feel like you're the one making the old money and the bills are there. The man is older, he can't work as
Correct.
much because, age starts telling on his body. So maybe he's able to pull overtime before. Now he can't pull the
Correct.
overtime. He expects his wife to be able to fill in. That starts creating friction. That's not just a Nigerian household. It's just that what makes it a problem in a Nigerian or African household is because our women also, as a woman myself, I know this, but first thing I always tell people is, I don't like to use me and my husband. And the reason is because I came to the United States as a teenager.
Okay.
So the age of formation to start saying, this is what a relationship should look like, I didn't form that in Nigeria.
Yeah, that's true.
While I learned from my parents, because man, God bless the memory of my father. I had an awesome father. But anyway, while I have the people around me that can say, oh, this, and I know I grew up in an household where my father was really the one doing all this stuff and everything. But me growing up, age 19 and having a boyfriend and saying, okay, this person, I see a future with him.
Yes.
My formation wasn't, the expectation for me wasn't that he's going to be the only provider in the home.
Correct.
So my mind was formed with both the Nigerian, the culture part of it, but at the same time, the American
part.
version of that. I need to also be a contributing member. And for him too, same thing. He came here the same time. So we were formed, we were molded with this. So I wrote in the comment that I can't remember the last time I did laundry in this house. I don't even know how to do laundry.
My husband does laundry.
And when my mother-in-law came, when she came to visit, and then she was looking at the pile of the laundry we did, and the folding, she brought me tea because my mother-in-law is like that. She brought me tea. I was working from home. She brought me tea, and she was like, she wanted to fold the clothes, and I said, please don't fold anything. Don't put anything on. Don't hang them. I said, leave them. If he comes back, you will be offended because he's going to put everything back and try to do it himself. I told her, I said, I don't touch laundry in this house. I said, because my husband already, he will complain and say, you didn't do it right. So I started doing it. The only difference is that I never asked him to do this thing. We never divided anything in my house. There was never any time that we sat down and said, you are going to do the laundry, I am going to do this, and I am going to do that. As a matter of fact, while we were still dating and I was in nursing school, and nursing school is so busy, you're doing your, yes. Okay. And you do clinicals and all of that. He didn't know how to cook. He learned cooking from me, watching me. I just know that when I come back, I get to my own apartment, I will have food that he made for me, and I get to eat. Because he knew that normally I love to cook, so I will cook. But I got busy, and my life got busy. And he was like, okay, I can at least make stew, I can make this. The only thing I banned him from ever making in this house forever and ever is egusi, because he's wasted my egusi so many times. So I think at the end of the day, it comes down to how you guys actually relate.
Correct. It's
Communication breaks
partnership.
down.
Yes.
Exactly. If you're going to bring somebody from Nigeria, be open.
Yes.
Let the person know your circumstance, what the expectations are,
correct.
at least. And then for the people that they met here, I know that a lot of our ladies also, they do too much. And it's because sometimes, what people say to you, and everybody is just trying to fit in with the crowd and all of that. Just because you see people come out there, your colleagues come out and they are rolling one way, it doesn't mean that is technically what's going on in their homes.
Absolutely.
Do you know? People don't tell you the truth what's going on, and I don't look at my relationship and look at yours and say, oh, my husband should, because there might be things that my husband is doing for me that your husband can never do for you, and there might be things your husband does that mine cannot do. So we need to learn to do that, and our women need to learn to do that. And women coming here, even the ones in Nigeria, need to know that the world has moved beyond my husband has to be the only person to do this. You need to learn to assist. Correct. And our men also need to learn to assist, because you shouldn't expect that. I'm serious. This is not even kidding.
All right, guys.
I had a friend in college. Oh, okay.
So thank you so much. So you can hear. This was a very beautiful topic and great, amazing conversation. Mama Tuzi, thank you so much as usual. Yes. And my lovely other sister, your name is Dr. Onyi.
Yes.
All right. Nice to meet you. And the twins who joined earlier on. Thank you so much, guys. And God bless you.
Nice to meet you there. Nice talking.